Here in Kentucky, where one champion is crowned in many sports, they gather at Tower Park hoping to find a spot on the field in the fall. But in the summer of 2005, Highlands Ladybirds soccer head coach Nina Kearns sensed something would be different. That was evident when she gathered the 9 seniors together to pick out their uniforms.
Going into 2005, I'd coached since my first season was in 1998. So watching them progress, both in skill and dedication, attitude, the whole package, really you could see it kind of culminating. And I just had a feeling with the leadership that we had coming back in the seniors that we were in a very good spot.
Highlands graduated just several players from the previous season. It ended with a 6-2 loss to eventual state champion and arch rival Notre Dame in the 10th region champion game.
Having to beat a rival twice and play them twice in a season is definitely really hard. And we had to do that multiple times my senior year. We lost to Newport Catholic in the district finals, which added even more pressure to us in the region final. And we went into all those overtimes, and it was definitely one of the most stressful experiences of my life.
That team, followed by the 2006 squad, accomplished what's only been done by 4 schools, with only 5 schools winning 2 or more titles. That is back-to-back crowns. This journey started when the players were young.
I started playing soccer back in elementary school for St. Catherine's, and it was just a sport where you could get out and run around and play. And I loved scoring goals, which was the complete opposite of now. And then one day I scored a couple goals and they said you need to let someone else take a turn to go play goalkeeper. And so ever since I started playing goalkeeper, and that was about 4th grade, they started just playing me strictly at goalkeeper. So I feel like I've been playing for a long time. And just being out there on the field and running around started me liking it.
I started, age, I was probably three or 4. I mean, I was super young. My brother played, and as we were talking about earlier, he was a senior now. I was a 6th grader, so he's a lot older than me, and he and his friends all played, and so I guess I started playing as shagging their balls, and they would launch these. But it was Brent Grover and Ben Freer and all those football guys. So when they played, I kind of helped gather all their missed shots, and I don't know. I think that's kind of when I took to it because my dad coached, and able to spend time with him and my brother, and so I guess I don't remember actually playing for the first time. Probably YMCA, but definitely started with my brother and his team and getting pelted with all their missed shots. That's when I enjoyed it most, probably.
I started playing soccer probably at the age of 3 or 4 in the Y leagues with my brothers and neighbors, and I grew up with 2 brothers, so I immediately embraced it because it was a very physical game and I like to knock people over and get a little physical and rough, and that probably got me in trouble a few times here and there, but soccer was always my favorite sport. I tried other sports, but I was the best at it and never developed hand-eye coordination, so I just stuck with the game that required me using my feet, so yeah.
Others followed in the footsteps of their older sisters. Leslie Twaist cracked the starting lineup as a freshman. In her family, her sisters Stacy and Ashley had previously donned the blue and white.
I was looked at as Ashley's younger sister, not so much Stacy because she was a lot older, but everyone kind of knew Ashley, and then when I came in, no one really knew me as Leslie. It was Ashley's younger sister.
The 2005 team had a nice mixture from all 4 grades. Their dominance started with defense led by junior goalkeeper Sydney Hyance.
I don't know that we enjoyed playing defense, but we knew that it was the only way we were going to win games. We won a lot of games just by 1 or 2 goals. We actually tied 0-0 a lot. So defense was just a mindset that it was the only way we were going to win is if we played top-notch defense, and we wanted to win, which was our ultimate goal. So we enjoyed winning. We didn't necessarily enjoy defense, but we enjoyed winning.
Highlands posted 20 shutouts that year, including all 4 state tournament games, outscoring opponents 62-7. Sophomore Caitlin Beck anchored the defense with great help from sophomore Laura Painter-Cogswell, seniors Pratt Guerin and Allie Muse Hansen.
I've always just been very naturally a defensive player, so it kind of came easy to me, but I guess probably my biggest job as the sweeper was just to prevent Sydney from having to do as much as possible. And I guess kind of Sydney and I together were just kind of the voice of the field and keeping everybody in line, and you know, because we could see the entire field.
The Lady Birds won their first 11 games that year until Louisville Sacred Heart knocked them off 2-0 in the first game of the Lexington Catholic Cup. During that stretch, Highlands knocked off 6-time state champion South Oldham and district rival Newport Central Catholic by 1-0 scores.
Well, I have a natural personal bias. I played center defense my entire career, pretty much, as a soccer player myself. And so I think in America we place so much on points and scoring and offense, and trying to get them to have as much pride in defense is really important, because obviously if the other team never scores, you're not going to lose.
Also during that run, Highlands avenged the loss to Notre Dame with a 2-0 victory on September 15th. The Lady Birds ended up beating the Pandas 1-0 9 days later in the Lexington Catholic Cup. The Lady Birds rolled Campbell County 4-0 to start the 19th district play before losing for the final time 1-0 to Newport Central Catholic in the district championship. That meant they had to beat Notre Dame 1-0 in the 10th region semifinals before winning the third game against Newport Central Catholic 1-0 in a shootout to advance to the state tournament.
Well, she and I still have a relationship today. We still talk every once in a while. I would definitely consider her more like a mother figure to me than a soccer coach, because she guided me through high school and taught me a bunch of life lessons and made me the person that I am today. And then Tommy was also a big part of my life. Without them, I definitely would not be the soccer player that I am, and I wouldn't have gone to play college soccer. So I have the utmost respect for them, and I thank them for coaching me through my high school career.
Highlands shut out Ryle 1-0 in the first round of the state tournament before recording sound 3-0 victories over Bourbon County and Greenwood in the next two rounds, setting up a game against Lexington Catholic for the very own state championship. It came down to a shootout. Megan Leahy, Caitlin Beck, Turner, and Hyance hit their kicks. That's when an unknown hero in Rachel Redmond stepped forward and made the game winner. Redmond had not played at all in the state final.
I remember it being dead quiet and just thinking in my head, you know, Rachel, like, now's your chance. You haven't played a single minute of this game, and nobody else is volunteering. Like, you have to do this. You have to take it. I just remember my hand, like, shooting up. It's almost like I had no control over it. And it just from there, you know, I can still remember the crowd, and just as I set up the ball and get ready to take the kick, everybody, the whole crowd just goes silent. And you can just hear, you know, your heart beating in your chest, and just all the adrenaline starts coming. And just, you know, the second my foot hit that ball, I knew it was going to be good.
In selecting penalty kicks, when we go into shootout, it's not the ideal way to end a soccer game after playing over 100 minutes of soccer and having to just kick the ball at the goal. But we'd significantly practiced penalty kicks, knowing that there's always that potential and possibility. I did not know Rachel was going to be the last kicker. The way it happened is we went through our first series of kickers, so you have to go through the full set. And then when we were still tied with Lexington Catholic, we then go to sudden death. So you have to pick another complement of kickers, but whoever makes one versus misses one, it's over with. So she ended up being the last one, but was the first kicker of the second round. It's a huge confidence issue in terms of getting up there in front of everybody by yourself to take a penalty kick. And I always have asked them, I've always asked the girls who wants to be in that spotlight, who wants that moment. You have to have somebody that's mentally ready for it. And watching her in practice, I knew she absolutely had the skill and the ability, mentally tough, and that she could perform. Even though she had not just been on the field, I knew she could complete the game for us essentially and stand up for her team.
Redmond's game winner set off a wild celebration. Browning and Lay led Highlands with 12 goals each that year, and then senior Cara Dickinson O'Hearn followed with 7. Toys had a team-high 11 assists, with O'Hearn and Guerin recording 8 each.
I hated taking shots that I didn't think I was going to make. So I was always very, I guess not cautious, but I definitely took shots that I was 90% sure I would make. But always excited, you know, hit or miss, make sure you follow up. you hope the goalie, it bounces or ricochets off of her and you're right there to finish the second shot, but yeah.
Highlands had to have various players adjust to the varsity level quickly in 2006 as the Lady Birds lost 9 seniors and 2 juniors decided not to return. But players like juniors Amber Barth-Wells and Stephanie Newman-Durbin stepped into the scoring roles nicely. Players like sophomore Anna Ayers stepped into the midfielder role nicely, and people like junior Hannah Agard stepped into the defensive roles as well.
The 2006 season, obviously we are now on top instead of 2005 reaching our way for the top. So we now have an added target on our back as the returning state champion. We graduated a tremendously strong senior class. So then you deal with the juggling chemistry piece of who's going to fit where. Just a new complement of younger kids that you're bringing in, wanting them to buy in and have the same commitment and energy as your upperclassmen do. I think it's the nervous part of it, but it's also the exciting fun part and trying to make it all work again.
Highlands continued to play outstanding defense, scoring opponents 64-7, shutting out 20 opponents. That helped Hyants earn the 2006 Miss Soccer Award. Hyants' 53 career shutouts currently rank second in state history.
That was definitely probably challenging for us, losing all of those senior defenders and then getting all those new defenders coming in. But if you can ask anyone, I was kind of a bossy player. So I have a very different personality off the field versus on the field. So I was not shy about telling them what to do, and they probably didn't always like it, but I was just kind of a coach on the field, I guess.
Alicia Browning and Megan Lay had more monstrous years for Highlands. Browning scored 15 goals with Lay scoring 8 and tallying 11 assists.
I think the first thing Megan Leahy I did, we looked at each other and we went and got the giant jug of Gatorade after seeing, all the ESPN commercials and stuff like that. So we went and got that. I think that was our first thought, was to go drench Nina. But we missed and ended up getting all over both of us. But no, I think just excitement, and really for Rachel, I mean, she may not have, been, the #1, starting all-star or anything like that, but she definitely brought something unique to the team, and I think she really stepped up when nobody else did, and she was confident, and, I give Nina a lot of credit for, going with her gut, and Rachel for, kind of stepping up, and I don't know, I was proud. I was super proud of her. Excited too.
Wells scored 11 goals for Highlands and had 7 assists. Durbin added 10. Highlands went 21, 1, and 3 that year. All 3 ties came in the scoreless variety. The Lady Birds won the Lexington Catholic Cup, went to overtime to beat Newport Central Catholic for the 19th District Championship, then beat Notre Dame 1-0 in a shootout for the 10th Region crown. The state tournament started off with 1-0 wins over Ryle and Bourbon County. The Lady Birds then went into overtime to beat Ohio County 3-1. Browning and Tways scored goals in the overtime frame to put Highlands back in the state championship game. The Lady Birds battled the Valkyries of Louisville Sacred Heart for the crown. It was a defensive struggle that hit a tough spot for Highlands when Browning tore her anterior cruciated ligament late in the game.
Alicia's injury was catastrophic, it really was. She ended up having to have knee surgery and luckily went on to play at UK, but as one of our leading scorers in a game that's neck and neck, it's never what you want to see happen. The interesting parallel with 2005 is earlier in the season we had lost a senior to a knee injury in September, and the 2005 team really rallied around her and made that a huge motivating force. So when Alicia went down in that state final game and we knew she wasn't going to be returning and how bad the injury was, I think I really didn't have to say much. I mean, those girls were so tight and such good friends on and off the field that they were not going to let that injury end our season in a very negative way, that they wanted to rally around her and for all she had put into it, end up with the state championship, which they did.
But one play forever changed the very history of Highlands soccer, the track down.
Now that I think about it, I feel like me running up the field and crossing the ball to one of the forwards was like a pretty common thing that we did. So I don't really know if I thought anything when I was chasing the ball. I think I was just hoping to get to it before it went out, and I crossed it hoping someone would be there. Like, I didn't know if Amber was there or if just anyone would be there really, but she happened to be in the right place at the right time, and it all worked out. But I do think it was all like out of habit.
Lay took the ball up the left side, but two Valkyries converged on her, so she dumped it right into the attacking zone. Wells started to go after the ball, but she retreated toward the goal when she saw Durbin run hard after it. Wells headed it into her left wide open net and celebrated happily. The goal came with 1 minute and 1 second left in the game, lifting the Ladybirds to their second straight title.
And honestly, I didn't really know where it was going to go. We had just practiced a similar situation so many times that I just wanted to put myself in the best position that was going to let me make an attempt at the ball. And so I just kind of put myself in that position. And Steffi got to the ball and came right to my head. It was like she knew where I was.
The goal came with 1 minute and 1 second left in the game, lifting the Ladybirds to their second straight title. Everyone ran in celebrating the goal. Hyance remembered Wells, embracing her before play resumed.
I was kind of overwhelmed with the fact we had just won state for the second time, but when you get to end your season and your career winning a game, it's very uncommon. Obviously only one team gets to do it a year, so the fact that she allowed us to be that team and allowed me to finish my career on a win was just really something special.
Highlands recorded an impressive record of 45, 3-3 in those 2 years. No other team in Northern Kentucky has ever repeated as state champions.